Yes.
IG, you're getting a little behind the scenes look at the real word. This is how we do it. We sit here, we talk about our topics, and then we go consistently
And we blow
every
coffee
single
breaths
Monday
in each other's faces.
Well, I'll be blowing mine in my mic, and we're about to get started. So this is how we do it.
How we do it.
This is Byron and Nicole White, and you are tuned into episode 60 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
There you go, Nicole.
You say I got the pop too.
Yeah, word is up.
Up.
It's such a big show. I'm glad you were on point there. We've got a lot to get into. Racket number 1 has people in the real estate industry up in arms. This topic on my Twitter, I even tweeted about it. On Instagram, everybody's talking about this topic. And so let's get right into it.
Love it.
Racket number 1, GaryVee, the golden boy of marketing, Gary Vaynerchuk, has completely slammed home ownership. This, by the way, is right off of the heels of his conference, Agent 2021, where he's got, real estate agents, mortgage people, insurance, and travel agents coming to the conference.
I think he got rid of the travel agents.
No, they were still there.
Oh, they were?
Yeah. We went to Agent 2021.
It was amazing.
The first year in 2018. It was a really well done. It was a one-day conference.
So fun.
This year, they had year number 2. We did not go. I know, like Tom Ferry, who, I'm a big part of the Tom Ferry. We are a big part of the Tom Ferry ecosystem. He wasn't there in year 2. That's certainly a lot of the people that I network with across the country in real estate. Less of them went, I think, because of the Tom Ferry influence in year 2. I certainly saw that. There doesn't mean there wasn't a lot of real estate people there. It certainly wasn't as big as, say, a Tom Ferry conference or as some of these other real estate conferences again in year 2, like the attendance.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't look into the attendance.
Well, year 1 you were there.
It was fun.
It was great.
It was so fun.
But there was about 800 people there
year
1.
I think what made it so fabulous, and we're totally going on a separate topic here, but what was so amazing was you had no idea what to expect. I mean, walking out on Dolphins Stadium was like...
So listen, we both thought there was a lot of great content. He's done it now for 2 years. Well, a couple weeks after this year's Agent 2021, there was a clip on Instagram, and everybody is reacting to a clip.
Right.
We're going to play the clip for you right now where GaryVee slams home ownership.
I do not think the American dream should be buying a home anymore. I think it's full of shit.
Tell me more of that shit.
It's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
It's a bad use of upfront capital, and it ties you up.
Correct.
And it's just not smart.
It's not going to appreciate
and
not the way you want
And what is it for? Like, I'm pissed that I own a home.
Yeah.
I would literally rent in perpetuity now. And I will. Like, I've decided, I will never buy another new home.
So, after hearing Gary V's clip off of a podcast or an interview that he was doing, is this a racket, Gary V blasting home ownership for the American people? Nicole White, it's your answer.
So we were talking about, if we're just talking specifically about the clip.
What's your response? What's your reaction?
Well, I mean, I own a home. It is, in my mind, it's still very much the American dream. I believe in it. Again, I also own a home that's been in my family for over 40 years. So like I continue to sort of reinvest in, I feel like, my future, my kids' future. I own another home that I rent out. I mean, I guess that's not really home ownership, but anyway,
What do you mean that's
because it's a rental property. It's like an income property, but that house was supposed to be sold, but I couldn't. So now I'm renting it. But, I think that it's really interesting because I think that a lot of people are also getting into homes with super low amounts of money down. So I don't think it's really holding up much capital, to be honest, especially like if you're getting into a home when you're super young, for you to then be able to potentially pull that money out of your home in say 15, 20 years to do other things with it. That to me is a great investment. I mean, again, most of my buyers are going into their homes with 3% down, 3.5% down. Some people are doing 0% down with like a DAP program. I mean,
here's a Tom Ferry tweet to Gary V.
Okay.
And Tom Ferry is a huge fan of Gary V.
right.
We know that.
Most people are. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a huge
I'm a
Gary
huge
Vee
fan,
fan
so,
too. Yeah.
And Swab, maybe we can pop up the Tom
The
Ferry
tweet?
tweet as well in here. So Tom tweeted directly at Gary V.
GV.
GV. Check the stats on 65-year-olds that bought a home and those who didn't. It's basically $300K net worth to $6K net worth on average. So he's talking about people that have made it their most of their working lives. They get to 65. The ones that have home ownership, they're worth $300K or more. And then the other ones are worth about $6K. So 49% of Americans rent. They're in that $6K net worth category when they get to 65. So Tom says, and the wealth isn't there for people who are renting, those 49%. He goes, Gary, for you and for me, meaning Tom, he gets it, right? Like, because they're investing so much in the business.
Right.
But for every 20/30-year-old out there,
Right.
hashtag buy a home.
Right.
He went on to
So
to make another tweet, part
Yep.
2, regardless of historic data, which obviously shows the power of home ownership. The simple truth is people don't save money.
right.
So people don't save,
This is like a forced way of saving money.
but
for
they
sure.
make their house payment. So owning gives you forced savings, creates equity,
Yeah.
right? And so that's the angle you're taking, right?
100%. I mean, yeah.
So you think his comments were a racket?
I do think his comments are a racket. Again, I mean, once I heard your point of view, which you're going to probably go off on a wild tangent, there's going to be so many lines. I do understand your end too. So if you want to get in on that.
And here's the thing. A lot of agents are going to disagree with me on this. But here's where I think Gary
Go
was
ahead.
taken out of context.
But I
if
feel
you
like
will.
he took himself out of context.
It sounds like, now, to be honest, I didn't watch, and I'm sure this is an hour podcast or a half-hour podcast, and we're all commenting here in Twitterverse and on Instagram on literally 20 seconds, 40
Right.
seconds. It's a 43-second clip that we just watched.
Right.
We're commenting on that.
Well, but that's also what he gave us.
And we're going to link up the Inman article. If you read this Inman article, it says that he came out of nowhere with this, and that it says his comments on the January podcast about home ownership were initially unprompted. So, but here's what I think. He has so much going through his head, and Gary Vaynerchuk's audience is entrepreneurs. It's people that want to start a business or get their life together and get their mindset together where they can start a business.
Right.
So I've got to believe, I'm going to give, because I think the dude has done so much for people that are starting a business and are marketers and all this kind of stuff. I'm going to give him this one as a freebie because I think he's taking it from the standpoint of just that. If you're starting a business, if you're an entrepreneur, and I've got to say, if you could be an agent starting a real estate business, well, if you've got $200,000 in your bank account, for example, and you're
people just have that.
Of course people have that.
Okay.
I mean,
I don't know.
what question is that?
I don't
So
know.
if somebody that is starting a real estate business, maybe they've been an agent for 10 years, but they've got savings, right? They've got
Okay.
$200,000 savings.
Okay.
Let's just take an agent who's been in the business 3 years. They've got $200,000 savings. They're and they're renting, right?
Okay.
But they want to start their own business. My apologies. They want to start their own business, and they've got this $200,000. They've got a choice now. What am I going to do with the $200,000? Well, if they want to buy a house and they want to put a significant down payment on it, okay, you are going to take from that $200,000 to do it,
Right.
which is also taking money, capital from your business. There's no two other ways around it. If you're a business owner, if you're starting a business, every penny that you bring in, I get it, everybody's going to need to eat and everybody's family needs to survive. But every penny that you bring in that doesn't go back into your business, you are holding your business back. You are putting a longer length of time for your growth, and you're stunting your growth. And I've got to believe that's what he's talking about, because that capital that you're using,
Yeah.
is not going into your business at that point, because you can legitimately rent, and where I've heard him go a lot of other times is you can rent less than what you're renting now. You can lower your means, right?
Yeah.
And save a lot of money and put it into your business. And so you just can't have both ways. You can't sit there and complain that your business isn't where it should be, but you haven't made the investments because you have a higher car payment, because you have a really expensive home, because you're taking X amount of vacations. You have to lay in the bed you made.
Right. Yeah, again, based on the clip, that's not at all what he's saying. Again, I've been reading a lot of comments too, because it sounds like he actually bought a house at the peak of the market and now he's like underwater on it. So you almost wonder.
Well, I don't think he's underwater, but yeah.
It sounded like he was.
Well, his house but I don't think he.
No. But for his home, yeah. So like, if he sells it, of course he's pissed off that he owns a house because it's not worth what it is that he bought it for. I'm pissed off that I own a house that's not worth what I bought it for. Was that a poor choice? Yes, but
here's
at
why
the time that I bought it, I was like, holla, I'm like 23 years old with a house.
Here's why he's pissed off he bought a house. It wasn't on this clip, but there was he referred to this another time recently, and maybe it's the full clip. I don't know. I saw something where he said the down payment he made on his house was the money he would have put into Uber on the first round. He ended up getting into Uber as an investor later on. But it was like the difference of like $300 million.
Right.
He couldn't make that investment, so he probably is pissed because of the lost money.
Yeah, I hear you. I guess I understand that, and I guess I just also feel like real like buyer. I mean, we're talking about 3%. We're talking about 5%. We're talking, like
what's not a racket is if you have a job and you're making a certain amount of income and you're trying to figure out ways to have a real savings or real investment long term, and you're going to be in the same area for more than 5 years, then owning the home that you live in is 100% what you should do. That's not a racket.
No.
Because forced savings is a real deal. But if you can't tell me you're going to be there for longer than even 3 years at a minimum, then it's good. Then it becomes a debate on whether you should rent or not.
Again, there were lots of comments down there though too about, people have been renting for multiple years and they've actually they've been forced to move because the landlord then wanted to sell. And one woman said, as soon as I was able to buy my own house, like she was actually able to be much more effective in like her day to day, because like she wasn't so.
I agree with what you're saying.
Like, do I have to move? Am I moving?
Yep.
Like, am I packing? Am I, so
like I make
it's all very interesting. And I love that Harvey wants to. Isn't his last name Harvey? Steve.
Oh, Harney.
Steve
Harney, economist.
I like Steve Harvey too, but
Steve Harney, who's a real estate economist, wanted to challenge Gary to a debate on this. And to Steve's point, he would have completely shredded Gary, and Gary's not going to get into that ring because
but I think
he's totally out of his element there.
But it's funny though, because as the comments sort of went on, and because obviously it looked like yesterday Gary sort of went back and said like, oh, I don't debate or whatever. That he did a quick little.
Well, Gary put a thing out, said basically time will tell.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen. This is not going to be – time will tell. Time has already told us, Gary, that home ownership is a path for savings and wealth, and that's indisputable. So you can't really use that card. I think Gary just doesn't want to debate something that's completely out of his league. My point is –
but he's saying that it's not the American dream. That's very different. I mean, I get what he's saying there too, but I don't know.
It is 100% the easiest way to have some type of forced savings – and control an asset.
Place that's yours.
Right,
like
in this country.
We're talking about the American dream. We're not just talking about saving money.
And to your point, like something
family.
my wife would love is for us to stop moving as much, because I've actually taken this dog food that Gary's talking about, where I've gone all in on my businesses.
But you were also able to take your money from the sale of the house.
From a sale of a house,
you made.
I did that.
From owning it.
But here's the thing. You
bought it for less, sold it for more. You made the money. You were able to invest that money into a business because of home ownership.
Because because I bought a house at the right time and did some key
Yes.
So. But to Gary's point, when we're in major growth mode, which we are on our real estate company and our marketing company, it is more now than ever time to push the chips into the middle, and that's money, right? So I've literally moved I moved into our new development.
Yep.
I moved, we sold
into
that
the
unit,
enemy
moved
zone.
into a different
Zone.
to the next town over. Right. So I've taken that approach to be able to invest in my business. Doesn't mean that I don't believe in home ownership. And to my wife's point, she certainly believes in it because of what you're talking about. Life would just be more manageable if you're not moving as often. So
Right.
let's get into racket number 2.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Gary, we still love you here.
Love, absolutely.
We'll probably be back.
I'm curious to hear what other people have to say, though, because I feel like lots of people had lots of things to say about it. So curious your take on it. Do you think it was a racket or
Let us
not?
know. Let us know if you unsubscribed from Gary
Ooh,
over
after
the
that.
weekend in the comments.
Or if you went to Agent 2021 and now you're asking for your money back.
Exactly. All right, racket number 2 is Yelp. Yelp?
You just like
Isn't
the
there a little
peas.
noise? Yelp. Yelp. Racket number 2, Yelp
that
hides.
Yahoo?
Yahoo. Yelp hides reviews for pages for Open Door and Offer Pad. The Mega Reviews website still maintains the reviews. So, and there's a link within the link that we're going to post, this Inman article, where you can go directly to the Open Door page on Yelp. Still maintains the reviews, but makes them harder for consumers to discover, while traditional brokerages have fully public Yelp reviews. Now, you may be thinking, geez, Open Door is being treated unfairly, but when you go to Open Door's page, what do you see? You find a page of an average 3-star reviews. They highlight one here from Jennifer M. in
Jennifer's
Texas.
just she's a racket.
She
That's
gave a
racket.
1-star review to Open Door on June 11th, 2018. Open Door is a scam. They give you an estimate and then look at the house and take a huge amount off the already lowball estimate. She goes on to write some more stuff.
Don't take it. Just say no thanks.
Okay, but here's what's interesting. Here's what makes this entire thing and review culture to some degree in general a racket.
Are you a Yelper?
I am a Yelper.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've Yelped.
Do you have like the app on your phone? Isn't there like is there a
I do
Yelp
have the
app?
app.
You do?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never visited Yelp.
Yeah. So I'm on Yelp.
Okay.
Anyways, here's the big thing. Open Door, which makes this whole thing a racket. Open Door has received financial backing from Yelp's CEO and 2 former Yelp board members. Though an Open Door spokesperson told Inman the ties between the 2 companies had nothing to do with Yelp's policy change, and that Open Door did not ask Yelp to hide its page.
Wait, policy change? What's Yelp's policy change?
Policy change of taking these iBuyer accounts and not making them searchable through
just
the
for
Yelp
them?
search or through
Are
Google.
there others? Are there others that are being hidden?
Yes.
There are.
OfferPad is also
Okay.
being
So
hidden.
just
These
two
are
of
the
them.
these are the 2 that this Inman article, which was a Teak Wiggin article today, this morning, Monday morning. And these are the 2 that they highlight, Open Door and OfferPad. So the fact that there are CEO ties investing into the company from Yelp to Open Door.
Yep.
This is a complete racket.
Total
They're
racket.
100% trying to cover up
For sure.
the disgruntled reviewers.
Well, because they're saying that 57% of consumers will not even consider a business with less than a 4-star review. So you're losing more than half of your consumers if they're able to actually see those reviews.
And if you're a consumer and you go onto Google and you Google Open Door and Yelp doesn't pop up, you're not going to find it. If you go onto Yelp search portal and type in Open Door, it will not populate. You have to go to the direct link to find it. So that is a huge racket. I mean, that's the definition of a racket. Running a racket, right? So
they are running a racket.
Now, Yelp is big for, and I did hear this, I don't even misquoted. Somebody did say, hey, if you're a real estate agent, and I've seen mortgage brokers clean up on Yelp. Pete Kostakis, who we know, he's done really well on Yelp. He has a ton of Yelps. If you're an agent, you should try to get 1 or 2 authentic Yelps under your name because they will pop up. If you just have 1 or 2 authentic Yelps, they will pop up to the first.
Have you been Yelped?
I was Yelped recently on an old page, and I saw the page. I was like, that is so old. I need to get that down. That's bad. I need to change it. But somebody did reach out through Yelp.
I feel, but I'm also not like a tweeter. I need to step up my game.
At the end of the day, it's more Google juice for you, and people believe reviews. So
yeah, I like Google juice.
Take that for what it's worth.
You know,
racket number.
Maybe I don't like Google juice. It doesn't sound good.
Racket number 3.
Yes.
Sex basement.
Love it.
Among amenities in upscale home for sale in a Philadelphia suburb. This home that was for sale was an Airbnb option for a lot of people. They were renting it out for
Ew, that's even worse.
750 a night during the week and $2,000 a night on the weekends.
Just for the house. I'm assuming they weren't just renting out the sex.
Yep, the sex basement came with it. We've got a photo. We'll pop that photo up. Suave, pop that photo up for people to see. They've got purple lights. They've got what looks to be like, I
don't know. I feel like
bear blanket. Is that bear fur?
I don't know. I have to tell you, the purple light. And
there's chains.
I mean, I'll admit, I read 50 Shades of Grey. This is not at all what I pictured.
50 Shades of Maple Glen.
This
is what realtor Melissa Leonard dubbed the home.
It looks cold. There's like tile floors, purple lights. This is not at all what I pictured. But I will say, what an incredible marketing piece.
Well, cold floor, you're probably going to be
maybe,
that
but
nice bed they have with the hand shackles.
You have bare feet walking in. I don't know. That's not at all what I pictured. I love that they got a photo of it. I'm surprised that she didn't hire a professional photographer. That does not look like a professional photo.
I went to a house in Connecticut. I won't say which one. It's been in the news quite a bit.
Really?
A few years ago. And when I took a walk through the home, in the master bedroom, there were above the bed. Well, there was a huge mirror above the bed, but then there was these like swing type of rope things.
Ropes or swings?
Yeah. And then and at the end of the bed, there was a massage table. Like a Tarzan type of situation. Okay. And then at the bottom of that, at the end of the table, there was a massage bed and then the mirror. And I said, this is clearly where the magic happens. I just didn't know what else to say to that. So this stuff definitely happens. I don't know. I would probably, if I'm an agent, I would potentially offer up some staging in the future. That might be my tip.
I would, and you never offer up staging.
Yeah.
That would I would just at least put the shit away. Like put your whips away. Like that's your own personal. Like at least if you're gonna highlight your sex basement, at least let the potential buyer imagine their own sex toys in there, not yours, right?
But realtor, she goes as realtor Melissa on her IG. I mean, she really. I'm gonna see if she's got a ton of followers. I bet she picked up a bunch.
She has to. I mean, again, it was brilliant. I feel like everyone's talking about it. Is she coming up? She probably had to delete her account. It was
I don't see her coming up.
So busy. She's like, I'm done.
Realtor Melissa. I don't see her coming. Oh, here she is. Melissa Leonard.
Oh, not many. Only 765 followers.
She got 395 likes and 65 comments on this post.
Look at how many other likes she's gotten in other posts. See how it differs from the others.
Yeah, big jump up on this.
Way to go, Realtor Melissa. I love it. Good job.
All right, a lot of stuff going on there. Please give us some comments on what you like, what you don't like.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I got a message from Alice Frederick.
Okay,
from
Alice.
She is from North Carolina, and she's getting into real estate, and she actually messaged us because we're actually inspiring her.
Oh,
she watches us, and
she's
feeling like super motivated and excited
to get into
real estate. She didn't have any questions, no. But
Alice?
if she has any,
Alice,
she just feels like she's just.
Next time you have a question, send us a question.
Please.
We'll cover it on the show.
I appreciate you reaching out, though, and I did read it, and I will respond, I promise. But I read it, and keep going, girl.
This is Nicole's response. No, send us a question. We'll feature you on the show, and we'll tag you up. Nothing better than being a new agent, getting some more agents to know you that can help you and send you referrals. If anybody's got a comment, drop us in the topic in the comments, and tell us what you thought about GV, your boy Gary.
Gotta.
All right, guys. Peace out.
Wait.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
Keep it real.
That's it. Up.